This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, viewers of JB Hospitality Management, welcome you again all for this beautiful session podcast about the insight of the industry, which was started as a series. Here we will be aware of the different part of hospitality industry, and along in that we will be bringing you the various experts from the industry to give you the better insight of the hospitality and tourism industry. For today's guest is from uh, trading and quality manager. He is well qualified and he is taking this position for quite a bit of time. He will be making understand the role of the quality manager and the training and placement in the training and part in the hotel industry. I was very proud to welcome Mr. Abhishek Roy from Four Point Sheraton, which is a married property from New Delhi. Sir, very warm welcome to JB Hospitality podcast.
Thank you so much, Mr. Anupam. Thank you so much for this session. And it's been really proud moment that we are working together and we can enhance some of the knowledge of the student.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, my first question is obviously, why did you choose this as your career, hospitality industry, and how your journey been since when you started?
So if I'm talking about why I have chosen hospitality industry or hotel industry rather, and then it's become, if I elaborate, it's become a hospitality industry. So initially when I did my 10+2, I always had a thought I'll be choosing some of the different course which will give me more practical oriented knowledge, and it would be different from others. I don't want to go a general course and where I'll get more option to work into a diverse career field. So that was one of the major reasons that I have started with hotel management. So I have done my hotel management. Basically, I'm from Kolkata itself. So I have done my hotel management. I have done my hotel management from NSHM Academy, Durgapur. So I passed on 2007. So once I passed, to be very honest, into this last 16 years career, when I passed, that time the thought of everyone into the industry, it was different. It was more enough to get into more operational aspect of the hotel, which is like front office, housekeeping, F&B, kitchen and all. So I started my career with housekeeping. So I worked around 7.5 years into the industry. Initially, I started with Lila Palace, Goa. It used to be Lila Kempinski. Now it's a Marriott property, St. Regis, Goa. So my first assignment was with Lila Kempinski, Goa, into housekeeping. Then I always had a thought, I'll do something different in terms of, say, my father is a professor. So I always had a thought, I'll go into education or maybe into teaching and training. So that is a bit of influence from my father, I would say. From the very much first day of my life, I have seen my father is teaching, students are coming at home. So that was a bit of influence on me. So then I moved for my higher studies. I thought I'll go for my higher studies, and I went to London in 2009 for my master's and post-graduation. So I was there around 7.5 years into London. So 5 years I was into London. Okay, it was into hospitality management. My major paper was HR.
Great.
So I had a thought of, I'll go. It's not only me. My father was again saying, you have to go for your master's. Any of the line you are choosing in your future, whether it's operational line or HR or training, you have to go for your master's. So that's what I thought. Why not to start very initial of my career? Because if I start earning, then it will be a kind of, there will be a kind of a key. Paisa kamana hai, so of course it will be more into paisa kamana hai. So my father said, first you start with your finish with your education, then you can move into your industry. So that's what I chose MBA to do. So I did my MBA into University of Wales. That's into UK. And beside that, I was working as well. So I moved to F&B sector, because once you are on student visa or once you are going to abroad, it's more option you are getting. It was a scenario. And when I went in 2009, it was just after the credit crunch. It was not very well kind of option into European countries that moment in terms of hospitality job. But anyway, I got option enters. I worked into different areas. I started with first Hilton, then moved to Holiday Inn, then moved to Cafe Bar chain. That was a European brand. So I worked with them for 3.5 years into that chain. Later on, I got an offer from Starbucks, the largest coffee chain of the world. So it's a US chain. So I moved to Starbucks as a shift manager. I worked with them for 2 years. That was a great learning for me, working with US company. And then I got an offer from an Indian originated restaurant chain into sales department. So they have like 18 restaurant all over UK. So I had to look after the sales part, 4 of their unit. So the restaurant name is Jimmy Spices. So I moved with them for 2.5 years. So that was all my 7.5 years journey into UK. Then I came back to India. It was a bit of my family pressure. I'm the only son of my parents. So that was one of the major reason. My father, my parents, they used to say, "Bahut ho gaya, ab aa jao wapas." That was one of the major reason. And beside that, so I thought, okay, let's go back to Kolkata and all. So once I was back into India, I started into I had an interest, so I started into education and training part. So I worked with Cafe Coffee Day for a year into training. Then I was into Kolkata office, but I posted into Patna with Cafe Coffee Day. Then I moved to Delhi and I worked into skill development for 2 years. So there is a company called ICA. It's based into Kolkata, but they had a zonal office into Delhi. So I was posted into Delhi office. Then moved to Amity University, Gurgaon. So Amity Gurgaon, I worked with them for 4 years as an assistant professor into hotel management. And then moved again back to hotel. I thought, why not to get back into hotel to learn something more? Because what is your core? For example, my core is hotel area, right? So I always had a thought, it's good to go back to hotel, learn what are the new things it's been introduced. Because I left the industry like 6 years back, if I talk about the hotel industry. So I thought, why not to go back to industry and get involved so that I can go back later on to education to give more to my students. So last 1 year, I'm into this property as a L&D and quality manager or training and quality manager. So that was so far of my journey.
It's a huge journey, huge experience across many properties. I said it's a very enriching experience you have across, because you worked as a operations also, you worked in training, and also you worked as academician also.
That is one of the major part. Like when I applied into different hotels, like I want to join as a training manager. So not only this hotel general manager, many other hotels as well, they said, as you are from the operation background, so why not you take quality as a part of your career, which is a very important part, because those who are coming from only education or training background, they are more focused into training. But once you are from operation background, you have a mixed experience of operation and training. So the quality is one of the major part. So why not to get into it as well? So that's why I choose like both of the option.
Okay. Mr. Roy, with your answers, I found that there are two things that my audience might to know, is that one motivating factor. You have come out of the industry. You've gone into completely to the education setup. What is the one that factor which motivates you back to go back to the industry, rejoin it
Okay,
again?
so if I'm talking about what motivates you, first of all, the growth. While you are into the while you are into the industry itself, the growth is very fast, to be very honest.
Yes.
The kind of growth and the kind of the options you are getting into the industry. If you see into last 7-8 years, if I leave that COVID period, that 2.5 years period, the growth of the industry is like bouncing back.
Phenomenal. I think it was phenomenal.
It is
Good.
I'm just talking about this property as some simple example. This is a 12 years old property, right? In this last year, the kind of business they did, it is a remarkable history into last 12 years of business. So it's just a small example. That's
taking the
another
fact
huge.
that this industry got the worst hit during the COVID.
It is the industry which was affected the most during the COVID. So if I'm not considering that 2.5 years of period of COVID, this is the industry which is bouncing back like anything.
Right,
And not only any brand, I'm not specific to any brand, any of the hotel, if I'm talking about,
right,
whether it's a
right.
2-star, 3-star, 5-star, any of the property.
Mm.
And especially the place I'm sitting into Delhi market, which is, it's the hotel is very near to Delhi, South Delhi, end of South Delhi and starting of Gurgaon basically. The hotel
Okay,
is very near from Aero City. So
okay,
the kind of location we are having, it is like, so here we can see another 10,000 rooms of properties within 5 kilometers, and all the properties are like 90% time it's 100% occupancy we are working with.
great,
It's not only
great,
my hotel, with all the hotels I'm talking about. In this
great,
10 kilometers of area, there are another 7 Marriott hotels, and everyone is doing the same business.
great.
So whether I'm talking about JW Marriott, they are
Yes,
having like 500 plus rooms. Whether it's a Limadian, again they are having
okay.
200 plus rooms. So all the properties of Marriott and any other brand, if you see, they're
Because
doing
both the luxury
extremely
and
well.
the business hotels are doing extremely
Any
good.
category, whether it's a select property, whether it's a luxury property, everyone is working. Of course, everyone has their own kind of guest.
Factor, right.
They have a niche market. Everyone has a niche market.
This
So
market.
my ARR, for example, it's going 9 to 10,000 at this moment in average.
Okay,
So if I'm talking about a luxury property JW, they are going into 30, 35. So there is a huge
right.
difference. But yes,
Yes,
of course,
and
my clientele is different and their clientele is different.
yes,
That is
more.
always.
I
So
think you
that
will
is
be
one of
more
the
more
major
handling.
part.
Okay,
Yes, so that
that
is one
comes
of the
makes.
major part to come back to industry.
Okay,
And
that's
of
nice
course,
to hear. So
that was a huge in the sense, if I'm talking about my career in 6 years of time. So I even felt there are major changes, especially after COVID, into hospitality sector. There is a huge gap between industry and the education, because I was into education. So we had to call many of the people from the industry to give the insight what is actually going on. Especially now, all the hotels are now technology based. There is no
okay,
anymore. So that is one of the major changes into last 2 years after 2021 onwards. So that is one of the major part. We are more focused into housekeeping now, which, to be very honest, I started my career into housekeeping. So I had a thought of, always I have a soft corner for housekeeping though. So housekeeping, how important it is after COVID or during COVID, every hotel started realizing. That is one of the major part.
okay.
So there are many of the
So
factors which actually said, "Ki come back to hotel, learn more, and then go back."
okay. So, Mr. Roy, one thing I will. There are two interesting facts you highlighted: the opportunities in the hospitality industry, especially in the housekeeping part, because it is seen by among the four brothers, it is the most, I think, less chosen brother of all.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll tell you, for example, at this moment, I have like 80 trainees in my hotel. And
Right,
out of 80, 60 to 65, they are saying, I want to become a chef. That is the
correct,
maximum answer we are getting. But is it actually I'm not saying, of course, chef has lots of option and there is
right,
lots
right.
of opportunity in the future. That's true. But why not to explore other department? I always ask, why not to go for maybe HR? Why not to go for into sales? Why not to go for into housekeeping? I mean, which actually we think maximum student, they are giving answer, नहीं मुझे शेफ बनना है, बाहर जाना है.
सर,
That is the
व्हाट
answer
डू
we
यू
are
थिंक
getting.
द फैक्टर, मतलब क्यों लगता है आपको कि आज के बच्चे लोग हाउसकीपिंग को प्रेफरेंस कम दे रहे हैं? इज दैट कि उन
So,
लोग को ज्यादा फ्रंट ऑफिस या फिर आपका फूड प्रोडक्शन में ज्यादा उन लोग को ग्लैमर नजर आता
see,
है?
food production or chef ki jo, I mean, if you see a image of a chef, it's always been very prestigious.
राइट,
If you if you see the skill category list into any of the country, whether it's a European country or Australian or Canadian country,
राइट,
again chef known as a skilled worker. So that is one of the major part. Always they are getting that kind of. I mean, we have created that image, the industry.
राइट,
कि
राइट, राइट,
शेफ है तो बहुत बड़ी बात है. Of course it is, but साथ में housekeeping, it's always been neglected. अच्छा WC तो साफ करना है. We are the people from the industry, or we are the managers from the industry, we are saying the same sentence. if I'm not mistaken. Many of the people.
Right.
शेफ बनेगा तो बहुत कुछ है आगे, WC साफ करके क्या मिलेगा लाइफ में. I mean, that is that. But what is the scope and future into that industry? I mean, into that section, maybe into housekeeping or maybe into front office, that we never explore or we never motivate our students.
Sir, in this point, I will take opportunity. Can you broaden this? What is the career opportunity if a student, fresher, if joins the housekeeping? How is the
Okay.
career growth is and how much opportunities are going to have?
Okay, so if I'm talking about in a general way, so once you
Yeah.
complete your hotel management, so you get option to start with any of the department, or you may choose any of the admin department, which is sales or HR or something like that. So I'm talking about the operation part. So once you start with housekeeping, it will be a GSA, right? Which is a guest service
Right.
associate into housekeeping. If you see in
So
housekeeping,
just take a pause. But timer may went off. I will ask again
okay,
when this get up. I will ask you to reconnect.
right. Absolutely fine.
So, yes, sir. You can
So
go ahead with that.
yeah, so if I see like into housekeeping especially, many of the staff into those who are from the bottom level, so they have not done the hotel management degree or diploma.
Okay.
And a guy or a lady who has done hotel management degree or diploma, and those who have good communication and good understanding, very quickly they can grow into the higher level, which is a supervisor level, maybe
Right.
a trainee supervisor or supervisor within a
Right.
year or two.
Right.
And after that it is an option of assistant manager. Generally
Okay.
after supervisor it will be an assistant manager.
Okay.
And of course it is more and more, it may be for example, some people they like to go to laundry part, and some they
Okay.
prefer to go into the room division. A room division is a room cleaning part, so it
Okay.
depends how they want. Once I become an assistant manager, from assistant manager to become a manager, it's a bit of, I would say it's a bit require more of the experience, because
Okay.
every 1 year you can't expect a promotion. It's very
Right.
easy
Right.
from a GSA to senior GSA and to become a supervisor, but from a supervisor to AM you have to give a bit of
Some
time.
experience is
And again,
required.
yes, and again
Okay.
from AM to manager, that level again you require a experience, and you must have that detailed knowledge you must have,
Okay.
maybe with big brands, maybe with bigger inventory of the hotel. Bigger inventory hotel, you need to have experience. So
Okay.
versatility is one of the major part. And after that, of course, you can be a executive housekeeper. Now every brand, for example, if I'm talking about my hotel, we have a housekeeping manager, we have a front office manager, but now we have thought, why not to put the operation together? So of course that's next option is RDM, who's next to general
RDM.
manager. So
Okay.
the kind of property we have, we don't have a requirement of a resident manager. This property required. So we have a room division manager who's having the authority next to GM. In absence of GM, he's the person who's handling basically.
Okay.
So
Okay.
again, that person is from housekeeping background, or it has to be from front office background. So our room division manager, he is from housekeeping background, though he is
Okay.
having a very good knowledge of front office as well.
Both
But yes,
hospitals. Right.
his core is housekeeping. So if I'm
Okay.
talking about into 10, 12 years of experience of that person, so from a GSA, it's very easy to get a growth. Those who are having a good communication, eye for detail, a good knowledge and versatility in housekeeping, you have actually a very good growth, to be very honest. And
Okay. My take
if
home
I'm talking about
message for the
promotion,
viewers is
yes, and
that
if I'm talking about the promotion and all, those in housekeeping, it's more easy to get compared to
right,
kitchen or in compared to other department, front office.
that yeah,
Kitchen is
some
always,
natural
it's looks,
talent is required for the growth in
yes,
the
kitchen,
kitchen.
it's all about skill. Yes, kitchen
Right.
is all about skill and time you have to give. Kitchen में हमेशा बोलता हूँ शेफ बनना, it's a kind of a doctor.
Right.
आप डॉक्टर तो बन जाते हो, लेकिन आपको वो एक्सपीरियंस टाइम के साथ ही होता है. There is no shortcut way to become an executive chef. You have to
Okay.
spend that 20-25 years of your career to become an executive chef. There is
Okay.
no shortcut way of it.
Okay. So
That's
coming.
what I feel. Huh.
Okay, please. So coming to the present role, what is your present
Mhm.
role and responsibility as a Indian quality manager? What are the things
Okay,
you look
so
at and
So if I'm talking about like into two parts, L&D, or it may be known as a training manager. So it's mainly, especially after COVID, it was before as well, and especially after COVID, we have seen employee skill and time to time to brush up the knowledge and the skill. It's very much required.
Okay.
Maybe they are fresher, or maybe they are coming from different brands with an experience. But
Hmm.
what happened, I'm just giving an example. That's what say now many of the chain hotels, they have started with their own LMS system, learning management software, and this kind of. So same
Okay.
as well
Okay.
Marriott has. So
Okay.
once I get any of the employee on board, whether you are a fresher, whether you have joined as a GS into any department, or maybe you have joined as a director FMB, for example, or
Okay.
director level or managerial level, you
Right.
have to go through a proper training schedule, which is around like 3 months online training schedule.
Okay. Okay.
But it has a
So
limited time. Say, for example, they have to log in minimum of 4 hours every week.
so
So
here
there are
in the
some of the topic
syllabus,
they have to
you have
understand.
study material
It,
also. You have to give
it is. It
exams
is. There
also.
are some of the videos. There are some of the PDF file, and after every kind of say 15 minutes or 20 minutes or half an hour session, there will be some of the MCQ that they have to solve
MCQs.
it. So
Okay.
there is no shortcut. So what happened, I mean, what I'm talking about the Marriott one. So what happened, everyone is going through the standard of the company, what Marriott is expecting, where we are standing, and what we are expecting from you once you are on board, what exactly the structure of the hotel. So the whatever video and things are there into that LMS, it is as per
Okay.
your brand. For example, you have joined into Westin Marriott, the videos and the content would be different. If you have joined as 4 Points by Sheraton Marriott, the video and the content would be according to that brand. If you have joined into JW Marriott, the video and content and training things would be different. So
Right. Right.
according to my brand, according to my capacity, according to my client, the content will be different. So what that is one of the part I'm taking care of. So every employee, if I'll manage to a GS, say, everyone has their training, and I need to make sure everyone is going through that. So we have a kind of a dashboard system, what we are submitting to the Marriott office every 15 days. I mean, every fortnight we need to submit it.
But
So
what
that
I
is one of the structure I'm getting.
what I get in this from your remarks is that there's a shift in the trading pattern post-COVID and pre-COVID.
No, it was before as well, but yes, pre-COVID as well, it was there. But now in post-COVID, it is mandate
It is
online
more
only.
mandatory,
It
more
is
focused it is.
mandate, more focused.
So,
Yeah.
since when a fresher joins, so what will
Mhm.
be the suggestion for you from your side? What are the things you should come prepared to have a smooth transition to his professional life?
See, if you're coming as a, for example, as a fresher, or whenever you are coming for your industrial training, or maybe you are coming as your job training, you need to be open-minded.
Right.
And I always say, start your career with a busy hotel. Don't go for a hotel which is like कोई बिजनेस है ही नहीं. आई एम जस्ट गिविंग एन एग्जांपल. फ्यू ऑफ माय स्टूडेंट्स सर, सर आपके होटल में ना बहुत काम करवाते हैं, पूरे 9 घंटे या 10 घंटे के शिफ्ट में इतनी काम होते हैं. मेरे तो बहुत सारे दोस्त थे, दे वेंट टू जैसलमेर और आई मीन दिस काइंड ऑफ सिटीज. Actually those who don't have that much of a guest into summertime,
Business.
because
Right.
वो जो area है, like they don't expect any kind of guest, hardly a minimum amount. So sir वो लोग तो आराम से है, यहाँ पे तो इतनी काम करवाते हैं. So once you are into a busy hotel or busy brand or a busy city, especially a
Right.
city, metro city like Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai, so these are the cities, you will understand the clientele,
Okay.
and
Right.
of course you have the more opportunity to learn and to grow. The I'm just giving again, I'm telling you, the learning of Marriott Delhi and Marriott Lucknow, or maybe Marriott some other small cities, never can be same,
So why the
because the
difference?
client, the clientele
Clientele.
is different,
Clientele.
the
Clientele.
guest experience, the guest expectation is different. For example, here I'm getting the kind of people, those who are always going to Daily, those who are always visiting into Andaz Daily, those who are always going to JW Aerocity, the flagship property of all the big brands.
Right.
The same clientele might, they are not visiting to Lucknow or Agra, I mean the small cities. That is one
Right.
of the major. So their expectation is different. So if I'm talking few of the flagship property of Delhi, which are like say
Hmm.
Radisson, Every brand has a flagship property in Delhi and Gurgaon. So the same guests somehow they're connecting to our property somehow, maybe to stay or maybe just for to have dinner or maybe for breakfast, maybe some of the event. So they have that point कि हमें तो ये सर्विस मिलता है हायत दिल्ली में, हायत गुड़गांव में, रेडिसन गुड़गांव में. They always compare with the flagship property. So of course you will come to know more and more.
Okay.
So the banquet operation, this hotel we have quite busy. Now what happened? Always different requirement while they are doing a bank setup.
Okay.
बड़े बड़े होटल के साथ.
So
The
being in the
need
part
we
of
are
the
changing the setup.
okay. So being in the part of the L&D team and the quality team, what are the core competencies you look upon when a freshers or an experienced person join to develop in the your group of hotels or in the Marriott group? What are the core competencies you're looking forward to develop in that individual?
It's first of all it has to be we are looking for a good communication, positive attitude, discipline, and
Okay.
you must have a learning attitude towards the job. It doesn't matter
Right.
which department you are coming to, whether you are joining into HR or into sales. We don't mind that you are interested into that department. Only you
Right.
must be disciplined. You must have a good standard of grooming and learning attitude, which is a positive sign.
Okay.
We don't
Right.
expect कि you are coming from a hotel management college और आपको सब कुछ सिखा के भेजेंगे. No, it's not possible.
Okay.
Being a student or
Right.
being a professor of a hotel management college, I have the same experience. We can't teach you everything in that 3 or 4 years
Right.
of time
So
until
two
unless you
core
are into the industry.
right. So
Yeah.
two core competencies is that from the soft skills part, the
Yes.
communication and the grooming. Okay.
Yes. And that
So
one more thing, you have must have a positive attitude towards the job.
consider should be, I think, the opportunities the hospitality industry provides with the growth and the variety of work and the experience. I think someone who is joining must be open to accept new things, must be always open to new things, right? If I'm
That's the
not
thing.
wrong.
That's the thing. That is.
So, my next is that uh, as a person, you are from operations team, and someone who is want to go, future students want to go for the N&D or the quality manager, what are the core competencies he should develop to move into from operations demands are something very different and training demands are something very different. So what are the
It
things
is.
one should develop to move into that part of
Once they're
going
planning
from
to move into the right,
yes
once they're
in the
planning
training
to move
and
into
in the
LN to
training,
quality. Yes.
right?
See, if you're planning to move to L&D or quality, you must have operation experience. It's always good if you are if you are having a mixed experience, which is say for example you have a room division and into F&B experience both. If you have, it's not
Right,
always possible, but yes, it is good if you have that kind of experience or exposure.
right.
Secondly, you must have eye for detail, and the documentation part has to be very strong. You
Okay,
must be very good into documentation part,
right,
because training or if I'm teaching you something, you will not get the outcome instantly. आज मैंने किसी स्टूडेंट को कुछ सिखाया, I can't expect tomorrow he will start performing like 100 out of 100. But yes, always there must be some of the outcome which should be measurable. Maybe down
right,
the line into 10 days, 15 days, 1 month, 2 month. So training always it's a time taking process. So the person must have a patience that I'm doing something towards my job and I can't expect the outcome. Like FMB में अभी मैंने कर लिया, so revenue is coming, so I'm getting
okay,
appreciation letter for GM, so it's done, my job is
right,
done. मैंने आपको से 1 CR का बिजनेस दे दिया, so GM is saying कि बहुत बढ़िया काम किए, so that is the kind of result. But once you are into HR, L&D training, these are the part you can't expect an instant result. Maybe I'm
mm,
teaching someone or I'm giving training to a batch of students and they are leaving within 2 months.
right,
So again, of course, but yes, you must have that patience. You must have that kind of you have to be open that I'll teach you. You don't expect that result कि ये बच्चा मेरे साथ रहेगा या नहीं, ये स्टूडेंट मेरे साथ रहेगा या नहीं, ये स्टाफ मेरे साथ आगे जाके 1 साल 2 साल 3 साल whether they will stick with me or not. That is one of the part. Secondly, if you are planning for quality purpose, you always think about guest aspect. So for example, as a quality manager, I do check the ice machine to a ready room. I do check with AC plant to the front porch. It's not about check. I'm not a person who knows everything. Of course not. I'm not an engineer that I would know how the AC plant is working. But yes, at least I do have understand the machine is working properly or not. The room temperature is right into the right level or not. Say for example, Marriott says it has to be 24, the maximum. So whether it is working properly or not. So that there is a set of standard that is maintained or not. That has to be. So you must be available to every section or every department of the hotel. So I do look after from finance as well. For example, if a check is not getting clear, a vendor check, that also comes to me sometimes. Why, as per the SOP, it has to get clear within this certain days. So it's not getting clear.
Okay.
So
So
these are
what
the
is the
things.
perspective? Is a quality as you for a quality manager, you have an eye in the view of a guest. What the guest experience
Yes.
you have to enhance, and you have to
Yes.
you say foresee the things, and then you have to suggest them for the improvement. And being on
Right.
the L&D part, what you said, I can if I collate
It
the
is
things,
always area of improving of your
area of
skills.
improvements.
Yes.
So, yeah, see, hotel management graduate, what I take home is that you always learn in the things, always implement, and always there's a room for improvement.
It is.
And the
It is. And
learning process is the key. But you should always be
never
eager
end.
to learn.
It's a never ending
Ending
process. It is a
process.
never ending process. So there is always, every day we are learning
So,
from every
sir,
experience.
I wish that if there was not a time constraint, because there are a lot of things to
Absolutely.
discuss, but since that there was a time is a constraint, I will take a leave from you so that other guests can also come in. It's very, really nice talking with you with the depth knowledge of what you told about the quality manager plus L&D work and of all the housekeeping department. It was, I think, was a very deep, entertaining, informative discussion we have. Thank you so much, Mr. Roy.
Thank you, sir.
It's
Thank you
really
so
nice
much.
having you on board.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you,
See
sir.
you.